name is Booster, and I'm making another video, and you don't have to wait weeks or months for this one, because I'm here and I'm excited to be making another one for you guys. Well, I just want to say thanks a lot for the love on the last video. You guys really seem to like it, and I got like 100 subscribers in like a couple weeks, so really, really cool. I appreciate that a lot. My film review channel took like a couple months to even get almost the same amount of subscribers, so that's pretty cool. I appreciate that, and I really wanted to make this video. It was the first idea I had following my last one, because I remember when I was getting into ASMR, this was a video that really kind of, I saw someone else make, and it left an impression on me because well, I'm a furry, which means I'm like 80% chance to be gay, and I am. I'm a gay dog, if you didn't know. And I'm also basic, is that the word? I'm not sure, but I like tattoos. I'm sure you guys might have noticed this one right here. And essentially it was a attractive man who had a lot more tattoos than me, but he basically gave a tattoo, a walkthrough, I don't know, of his own body, like a story time / get to know my tattoos. And I thought that was a really good idea because I like my tattoos. I have a couple of them. I thought I'd make a fun follow-up video for whatever the last one was. And I know I'm not what's the word, dense or unaware that I work out a lot. I work out every day. I worked out just today, and I like my body. I like my arms, and I get the feeling that you guys do too. So this would be kind of a fun way to show a little bit about me, and some personal stuff and stories. And also, you can objectify me. That's fine. I like it. It's one of my favorite things. So if you're here for that, please, stick around. It's totally what I'm down for that. This is basically a little ramble where I get to talk about my tattoos. I have my paw here because I wasn't sure what would be better between, hand tapping and finger tapping on either. So I'm just gonna do both, and hopefully it goes pretty well. But I just realized I had to put this on the wrong hand, so we're gonna go in chronological order. So a little bit about me. First things first, I'm 26 years old. I've been a furry since Zootopia came out. I would have been 15 or 16 when that came out. And I got my first tattoo when I was 19. I was in college at the time, and my sister and I really wanted a tattoo, but I didn't really know what. And for a long time, my favorite... Hold on, let me clear my Telegram. For a very long time, my favorite video game in the whole wide world was The Beginner's Guide. If you're not sure, it's a walking simulator, kind of artsy narrative experience made by the guy who made the Stanley Parable. Came out in 2015, and it has to do with a lot of different things. It has to do with art and the creator versus the creation, art versus the artist, and in terms of video games, and how you deal with who makes art versus what the art says versus what the author meant and versus what they're actually meaning. So it's a really, 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 really great game. I still love it. Even though my favorite game of all time now has become The Last of Us Part 2. I love that game to the ends of the earth, but The Beginner's Guide's like hardly even a game at any point, and so that's why I felt kind of very, very pretentious every time someone asked me what my favorite game was. But in the game, if you played it or if you haven't, you play through all these artsy kind of out there games made by this creator named Coda. Through the whole game, David Reed, the narrator, he walks you through them, and he talks about his experience playing them and his friend, who he was and how he acted and how he felt about things. And through the whole game, he's always telling you what stuff might mean to him or what it might, symbolize or how it impacted his life. But there's this one symbol, the three dots, two dots, and then one below it, where he doesn't talk about it the entire game. You go an hour and a half, and the narrator never mentions it until the very last game, when it finally he mentions it, and it's totally left up to interpretation, what it means, what it suggests, what it symbolizes, and it's so simple and so fascinating to me that no one really knows what it means. It could mean anything. It could mean nothing. So it's a great symbol. Here it is. It was my first tattoo when I was 19. It's based on the beginner's guide. I mean, it could mean a lot of different things. If you've played the beginner's guide, you might think, it has to do with the space in the middle, right? That's kind of a symbol of the whole game, where it's like past, present, future. The middle part might be the lower part, and one might be the fast future. So it might symbolize life's journey. It might symbolize the passage of time. It might just mean nothing. It might just be, the artist's signature of his games. But the fact that it could mean anything and nothing, symbolizes the themes of the game, and really stuck with me. I thought it'd be simple enough to get for my first go round, and I got it on my wrist. A basic place you can get it. I like looking down and seeing it. Even to this day, it's like 7 years old now. It still looks nice and simple. It means a lot to me. I like what it means. I like what it symbolizes. And it's, it was a simple enough symbol to kind of get the ball rolling, like see if I like tattoos or not. And it was something that I'm pretty sure that was going to stick with me for a while, and I would definitely say that it has, because it's been 7 years, and I play that game like maybe, once a year, once every other year, just to see how it, still impacts me differently, depending on where I am in my life and stuff. So I fully recommend the beginner's guide. I played Wander Stop recently. That was his next game following the beginner's guide, and it was good. It had the same composer as Minecraft C418, so that was nice. But just not the same kind of vibe. So not my thing. So I have to think, because now I have to try and think of what I got next. Technically, my next tattoo has to do with this one, but we're gonna get to that because we'll get there, because that's my last one. So next up, we have, hopefully you can see it, there's a little rocket ship. I got two at the same place on the same day. My sister said we should get tattoos together again. It's a couple years after, and I said sure. It was around my birthday at the time. I think it was right before TFF 2023. So on my 23rd birthday, she said, let's go get tattoos together because, it's your birthday. And I said, that sounds perfect. Let's do it. And so I got this rocket ship. If you can see, I also got this pyramid, and I'll get to this one here in a minute. But it was kind of a funny story because we both went and got tattoos at this really nice place. It was a really fancy place down, a few, kind of a ways away from where I live. And my sister said, let's get two tattoos, and I said sure. And so when I got these two done at the same time on the same person, we got to the, when we pay for it, when we were about to leave, and I thought she would, go halfsies or something since it was my birthday present, but she said, you're paying for yourself, right? And I said, I guess I am. If you're gonna, I guess I am paying for myself. So it wasn't really much of a birthday present. It was more just like an excuse to get tattoos. But anyway, I really like this rocket. If you can guess, my name is Booster. But that's not my real name. Naturally, it's my furry name. And so I guess I can tell. I don't know. I'll be brief about it. My name doesn't actually come from Rocket Raccoon, because I used to be a raccoon a long time ago. It actually comes from a character named Rocket from the Planet of the Apes reboot trilogy, which I was watching at the time when I was making my new fursona, my raccoon back in the day. And so I literally looked up synonyms of the word rocket because I could not be Rocket Raccoon. And we came up with Booster. And we said, that sounds great. I'll be Booster, I guess. And so, like I said, my real name isn't Booster naturally, but I almost kind of feel like this is a little like a calling card or a name tag or something for people who know or don't know. I'll introduce myself. I'll say, hey, my name is Booster. And they say, whoa, like that, a little rocket tattoo. Yeah, rocket boot. You know, it makes sense. It makes sense. It's basic. It's cute. It's a nice little line work. It's in a good spot. And always listen to your tattoo artist, by the way, especially about placement and direction. Because when I wanted it initially, I thought, you see tattoos the way you from your eyes. So I thought the rocket would be going down towards my hand, because for me, that's going away. And he's like, well, no, when your arm is down, you want the rocket going up. And I'm like, that makes perfect sense. I never ever would have thought of that. So I always think of that when I see people who have upside down tattoos. Either their artist didn't know better or they didn't trust their artist. Always listen to them when it comes to any placement or anything. They always know better, trust me. So this was the second tattoo that day. And my first one is this. How can I show it? It's a pyramid. Not just any pyramid, though. If you're a fan of electronic music, you might know Daft Punk. They were a French house musical duo from the 2000s and early 2010s. And I guess this would have been around 2021 or 2022. But in 2021, I got really, really into them. Even during like the pandemic and stuff, I was obsessed with their music and their albums and the story and their characters and just everything. I loved Daft Punk at the time. They're the coolest people ever, and they have an album that mixes up their first three records called Live 2007. And back in 2007, they did live shows at Coachella and all these other live shows. And it would have been so insane to go to those shows, man. That's what everybody always says. But it's top in my top 3 albums of all time, because it takes so much awareness and appreciation of their first 3 albums, and the way they mix them and mash them up is unbelievable, like unquestionably amazing. And it's a very, if you're gonna get a Daft Punk tattoo, you're gonna either get their random access memories with their helmets. You obviously get the helmets. That's the symbol that everyone always talks about. But usually the other thing they'll get is the Alive 2007 pyramid, and that's what I did. I thought it would be a nice spot for it. I gave him the design of the album cover, and he kind of took it and said, this would look good here. And I said, let's go, kid. Let's go for it. And that was around the time that Daft Punk had just broken up, so it was relevant and appropriate. I still love Daft Punk, but they only have like 4.5 albums, and you can't just listen to the same 4 albums over and over. I'll say it, I'm not as big of a Daft Punk fan as I was, but that's just because I listened to them so much back then. I still love the tattoo. I love that it's in such a perfect spot. It's so visible. But right now, my favorite musicians are Weezer and The Weeknd and old school stuff like electronic light orchestra and the Beach Boys and the Beatles. We'll get to that any other time. But the rocket and the pyramid I got on the same day with my sister a couple years after. And now I have to rack my brain because I have to remember what comes next chronologically. And so the next tattoos that I got also on the same day. I think it was back in October 2023. I really love spontaneity when it comes to tattoos. I kind of think getting an appointment is kind of boring. Like, it's no fun. Like, I want to wake up one day, have an idea, go get ink, and then do it, right? I think that's a lot more fun. And usually, if I wait for an appointment, I get really, really in my own head, and then I never make an appointment. I just think about it, and then I don't do it. Like, it's so much pressure. It's less of it now, but it's so much pressure to think of what I want, and then finding an artist for it, and then committing to it, and then putting a down payment. It's just, I much prefer walk-ins, especially back when I got these two. But you've probably been looking at this whole time. It is my, how can I show it? Let's see. There we go. Now, for the other Gen Z / Zillennials in the chat. Did you guys ever play Toontown online? I certainly did. It was actually one of my all-time favorite games ever when I was a kid. It was my first MMO, my first like online game that I ever played. I probably got into it around when I was like 8 or 9, and then I played it all the way until it closed in 2013, September 18th, I think. And then pretty soon after that, they had the revival, the fan revivals, Toontown Rewritten and Toontown Corporate Clash. Shout out to Corporate Clash. If you know, you know. It's a great, fantastic game. So basically, if you think that if I've been playing it since I was 8, and I'm 26 now, what is that? 16 years? Oh, I can't do the math. Holy shit! Oh God, I'm embarrassing myself. 2026, 2008. That's some amount of math. It's more than half my life that I've played this stupid, Disney cartoony MMORPG that's made for kids. And one of the weapons in the game, basically, you're playing all these cartoon characters that are fighting the cogs, which are supposed to be the adults, the boring adults who want to take all the fun away. Even though I'm an adult now, and so they have all these gags, is what they're called, and one of the gag tracks is for luring. You can lure them closer so they can't attack you. And one of the last gags in the track, one of the most powerful, is the hypno goggles. And so it makes for a really, really cool icon of the game. Like there's like 3 main icons of the game. It's the hypno goggles, the birthday cake, and like the bike horn or something. It doesn't really matter. But I've wanted something about Toontown for a long, long time because I still play it to this day. I've beaten Toontown the first game. I beat the first game once when I was a kid, and then I've beaten Toontown Rewritten 3 more times with 3 different people. And currently I'm playing Corporate Clash with my friend. Shout out to Breeze. He's not listening, but if he was, shout out to him. I love Corporate Clash. So I knew I wanted this hypno goggle tattoo because also I like mental TF. I like hypno like as a kink. Don't get me demonetized. It's just true. I like hypno. I think it's kind of hot. But aside from that, it's a really, really cool symbol of the game. Hold on, let me check. It even has little lightning bolts like it does in the game. My artist added that. And so it's also on, it's on a certain part of my body. It's on the outside of my bicep, which is, large and gets people's attention. So I think it's kind of a cute spot for it because it's a great reminder of a game. It's a cool design. And also, my arms have been known to hypnotize people. Who said that? So that was the first one that I got from back in October. And this next one, I'm going to see if I can show you. Hold on. Oh, that's perfect. You can see it perfectly. Wow. Yeah. So, this was the next one I got is, I mentioned it earlier, it's a popsicle from Zootopia. Now, I've seen a lot of Zootopia tattoos. Everyone gets a lot of different things. It kind of depends on the person. But I thought a popsicle would be such a perfect symbol of the movie that made me a furry, especially Nick Wilde, because he's also the one that kind of made me realize that I was gay, that I liked boys. So a popsicle was something that I really, really wanted. And I love the way my artist did it. He said, is it cool if I add some shading or some this or that? He wanted color, and I said, no, I'm not really into color. But he said, can I do some shading? And I said, yeah, 100%, dude, go for it. But it's so awesome the way it's so like marbled almost. And I love, my favorite ever detail is the way the popsicle stick, you can see it through the popsicle on the inside. Like he made it like, you can tell it's a popsicle stick going through it, but you can see it on the inside. It's such a cool detail. I didn't even tell him to add that. And he nailed it. Like seriously, I couldn't have asked for anything better. So big shout out. The tattoo shop is not even open anymore, but those two knocked out of the park. I absolutely I love them every time I see them. Now, then I took a bit of a break from tattoos. I couldn't ever think of what I wanted for my next one. And a little bit of another backstory. I got something in 2019 on my other wrist right after I got my beginner's guide tattoo, because it was just like the place. I was like, well, let me just get one on my wrist and one on my other wrist. Why not? Not really thinking that it's a very prime location, a very, specific location that gets a lot of attention, and I see it all the time, and it's just, just not really thinking really. So I got a tattoo with a friend of mine, and it was done cheaply. It was done quickly, uncomfortably, like poorly done. It was all bad things. But that was in 2019. Okay, so in the meantime, I got my other tattoos that I loved, and I kept looking at it, and I was so annoyed because all the other ones I wanted to show off, except for this one. Yeah, I almost hid it. I would bring my watch down like further. I'd wear it really low on my wrist so I could hide it more, and then less people would talk about it or ask. It's not like a bad thing. It's not bad at all, but it was something a 19-year-old would do, and I got sick of explaining it and looking at it and thinking about it. So for my 25th birthday, which would have been last year, I got kind of manic. I'm not actually manic, but I honestly kind of did. It was very, very late. It was like 1 or 2 in the morning on my 25th birthday, and I said, I'd never done this before. I'm gonna make an appointment and find a tattoo shop that would want to cover this tattoo, because I didn't want to get it, removed. That would be too expensive and painful. And I didn't know what to do, but I had seen there's this one specific cover-up style on someone's wrist. I don't know where I found it, but I'd saved the picture for like a year because I knew I liked it a lot and I could take inspiration. And I made it a appointment, and I literally sent them the picture. I said, here's the picture that I'm thinking about. Here's what I need. I need you to cover up with a blackout style because I love blackout. And then I drove over to the city. It was like half an hour away from me, and we kind of sketched it out. And he said, "This is what you want?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Don't go over my watch because I'm gonna wear that." And he said, "That's no problem. We're gonna go right here." And he took like a medical Sharpie and drew these lines very, very, very carefully and perpendicular and made sure they were all straight and stuff. And so he drew those around and covered up. Like he crossed. I took a picture right before because it's an awesome picture, but he crossed out my old tattoo because it was right here. You can't see it, but he blacked it out. He said here, and then we're gonna do some shading here and this line and then this other line. And I said, sure, dude, let's go for it. It'll be the biggest tattoo I've gotten so far. And if you know anything about blackout tattoos, they're kind of expensive because they take a lot of time and a lot of just back and forth. Like, think of it like you're vacuuming or you're raking a lawn or something, right? So you go just back and forth to make it nice and dark and even, right? You want to make sure it looks good on all sides, and you have to make sure it's really straight. So it takes a lot, more time and patience than a usual tattoo does. But I really, really love it. Like, seriously, it came out so perfect, and it didn't even hurt that much. But it's just, I love it a lot because it fits into my watch, which I always wear. It leaves a little breathing room, and also it's 100% unmistakably me. Like, I'll see fursuit pictures of me at a con, and I'll be just hanging out, whatever, and I'll see this, and I love it because I know that it's me. I know it's myself. It's a really, not like it's like I don't know who I am, but it's just like so characteristic of me and myself and what I like, what I'm into, my tastes. I don't know. It just feels so booster when I look at it, and it just makes me really, really happy. So it's my biggest, well, it's my most noticeable one, that's for sure. But I always love it because it represents, a step forward. I'm covering up a tattoo that I didn't used to like. It went from something that I don't like to something that I'm like obsessed to talk about. It was, it's just a really, it's kind of smudged right now. Well, not smudged. It's my watch is making it look like it's not straight, but I'm a huge fan of it. Shout out to my artist, Dark Age Tattoo in Denton. I don't live in Denton, but that's where he is. He did a free follow up. He darkened it a little bit, so thumbs up to that. Now we're gonna get more interesting because these next few ones are from a good friend of mine, Party Animals. If you remember that name, he's the one that made this thing, my fursuit. And I'm very lucky because he is a friend of mine. And he lives in my town. And, we've just been hanging out recently in the past few months. And he mentioned last, summer or whatever, that he was actually going to be a tattoo artist. That was his original, career plan before making fursuits and doing art full time. But then he said, he fell out of love with it because it was just a bunch of, it's just the business and the scene wasn't really for him. But he did mention that he still has his tattoo gun. And he had given himself, 2 or 3 tattoos. And I said, what? That's crazy. That is the coolest thing I've ever heard. I want a tattoo from you. And he said, oh yeah, maybe eventually. And we were at what was it? It was our Halloween party last year. And we were kind of drunk. We were both drunk. And I said, can I please get a tattoo from you, please? He said, yeah, sure. Come over Monday. And I said, I'm there, King. I am there. Let's do it. So I'm going to have to stand up for this one. Hopefully it's not too salacious. I'm actually going to make this down a little. Thankfully, I am wearing pants. And so initially, because he has all of his tattoos under his shorts and pants, so you don't ever, in case they're bad, they're not supposed to look like crazy good or anything insane. But that's where he got his. So I said, let's do that first. So I'm gonna stand up. Hopefully it's not loud. And so this was the first one I got. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's it's a dog bone that says "Good Dog" on it. Because I don't know if you know, but I'm also a dog, and I'm a very good one at that. I just gave him total free reign. I said, give me whatever you want, whatever comes to mind, whatever floats your boat. I trust you. And he said, okay. And so he gave me a dog bone. It says "Good Dog" on it, and I love it. It's kind of scrungly. It's not like it's perfect, and that's what's so cool about it because it has so much character. I really like it. I like the placement of it. Not to get too racy or NSFW, but I do like it. The fact that if you see it, you're kind of privileged if you catch my drift. Not every single person is going to be able to see it or know that it's even there. So if you do get to see it, you might be kind of lucky. And so continuing on with that trend, it's going to spoil it another one later, but it's fine. And so we had a Christmas party later that same year, this past December, and we got kind of drunk. And he said I wanted to give out more tattoos. He said he wanted to give out more tattoos. I said yes to that. And he said if you're getting a tattoo, you can't drink because it's a blood thinner, and that's just responsible. And I said okay, sure. And then I was like third in line because like 2 of my other friends got tattoos before me. And he had no problem drinking, naturally. And my favorite part of this story is, since I was third in line, he was kind of tipsy. And I sat down and I said, I don't know what I want, just give me whatever. And he said, okay. And then he had half of a beer left. He swirled it. He chugged it in front of me and said, let's do this thing. And I said, yeah, let's fucking do this thing. So, like I said, it's going to spoil a little bit of the next one, but it's a little puppy dog. It's me. It's a little picture of me, Alan. I wanted you to have it. I fucking love it. It's like, not only because it's me and because my friend did it and has a fun story attached, but also it's cute. it's in the similar spot where it's like kind of, sus and kind of, you only see it if you're lucky, but it's me. And also because he made my suit. So it's a cute little reminder that he wrote it. And now there's definitely no way I can show this one um, cleanly, but I just got it a couple weeks ago. Okay, well, I'm gonna put a picture of it on screen. It's actually on the back of my left calf. It was the first time he actually let me pay him, which was great because the other two ones were small, and he was worried that in case they weren't any good, he didn't want money for them. He just wanted to do them for fun, which I get it. But I told him I wanted another one really badly, and I wanted it big and visible because the other two are small and not visible. So I said I really want this one to be seen and front and center. And he said, okay, sure, let's do that. So I came over during one of the afternoons, and he drew on me with a bunch of pen and said, how's this? And I said, that's kick-ass, my king. Let's do it. And so he inked me in like not even half an hour. And I've gotten so many compliments from it because it's me as a dog with a tennis ball on the back of my calf. And I love tattoos from the back. I love my popsicle the same way because it's something that someone can look at from behind me without saying anything, and they can still see it, internalize it, and appreciate it, right? I've gotten so many compliments from it, like way more than I've expected. Every single person that has seen that tattoo on my leg loves it, and I love it because it's in such a cool spot. It's curling around my leg. It doesn't feel unprofessional, but it doesn't feel professional either. It feels nice and personal and unique, and I love it. Like, it's seriously, I'm a huge fan. I'm gonna have to go back. I'd already said I want to go back and get more from him eventually. That remains to be seen. But we have the last tattoo that I want to show, and it's even more unique because when we got done with that dog tattoo, he said, "Do you want anything else?" And I said, "Well, it's kind of been a idea of mine to tattoo myself because I know he's done it." And he told me, "Well, we already have the needle. We can't use it after you, so it's already used. So you might as well just do it if you want." And I said, "Yes, we're doing it." So I tattooed myself a bit lower, and it's still kind of fresh, so it's not quite as dark as I think it will be. I might have to redo it again later, but if you can't read it, it says my favorite phrase: say yes to life, which I think is a good word to live by, a good phrase to live by. It's a good thing to remember that you should always say yes to life in this sense. Life is for the living, is what they say, thanks to Brian Wilson. And I just also shout out to Big Joel because he was reviewing Teen Beach Movie, and he mentioned that one of the characters was saying yes to life, and it's the funniest phrase I've ever heard. So it's kind of a reference and kind of an in-joke, but he wrote it with pen so I could trace it. And tattooing yourself is so weird, man. It's really strange. It kind of hurts. Like, obviously it hurts, so your brain is like, okay, hurry up, but you're so focused and into it that you're not thinking about hurrying, so you're like going slow and fast at the same time. It's really it's really interesting. But I've been yapping for quite a long time now. I'm already starting to sweat in my fursuit. I've been wanting to make this video for like a week now, but I couldn't because the AC was broken at my house, and I knew that I would be sweating like a mother fricker, if you will. So thank God it's fixed now that I can make this video. I'm not sweating that much. Just a little bit on the inside. You guys don't get to see that. But that's going to conclude for the tattoo tour. Hope you guys enjoyed. I would love if you could leave some comments and let me know what you guys want to hear and see next. I'm just, really hanging in there. I'm not sure what the word is, what the move is, but I'm here to hang out, and I'd love to talk with some of you guys in the comments. And if you fell asleep to this, that's awesome. If you didn't, that's awesome too. Give me a comment, say that you liked it, and I guess subscribe and like, and I'll see you on the next one, huh?